Welcome to Think Bigger Voices, hosted by Jennie Treby and co-produced by Tony DiBenedetto. We're on a mission to break the cycle of poverty for kids in America by inspiring education, advocacy, and action in our communities. We'll tackle big subjects, talk to the experts, and promote the solutions making an impact. Join us if you believe that every kid deserves the opportunity to think bigger.
Welcome to Think Bigger Voices. I'm Jennie Treby. Today's guest is a hero both in the classroom and in the community. She's a 3-time Teacher of the Year and the recipient of multiple grants, including the coveted McDonald's Golden Grant for Educators. She's a dropout prevention teacher at St. Petersburg High School and also is the founder and operator of a 6x9 closet that has served thousands of kids over 20 years. Welcome, Ms. Tracey Keim.
Why, thank you so much. Thank you for the beautiful introduction.
Oh, my pleasure. And thank you for coming. I know you've already had a busy day today. You're after school, so thank you for letting us be your extracurricular activity for today.
No problem. No problem.
Tracey, start off by telling us what this closet is. And you know what, before you do that, 6x9. Let's think about what the size of that is. Like, if you think about this room, is it about the size of?
It's about the length of your back set. So 54 square feet that serves hundreds of kids per year. So after 19 years, I have served thousands of kids.
Okay.
Thousands of kids. Because the door opens several times a day. Sometimes it's just a stick of deodorant. Sometimes it's groceries to go home, cleaning supplies, and so on. So I started in 2006 with a $500 grant. And it has grown into something much larger in scope, but still small in size.
Wow. So take us back there. What was your impetus for starting the closet?
Well, I'm a St. Pete High School graduate. I graduated in '87. I love St. Pete High School. I was in Future Educators of America, but my life took me through journalism and owning bars and restaurants, and I ended up being a sexually transmitted disease counselor. That's a fun job. Lots of stories there.
Lots to unpack there.
We'll leave that in the past. But anyway, I did the Great American Teach-In, and I went to St. Pete High to do it, to talk about STDs and HIV, and I was like, this is where I want to go. And I got certified to teach. I was hired the next year. So my first year, I was learning to be a teacher, even though I was 35. And the next year I was ready. I started doing, I think, sophomore class first. And I realized the girls did not have dresses and the boys didn't have suits and they didn't have interview clothes. So I said, well, I'm just going to start a closet and I'm going to talk to all my friends that I know online and in the community, and they can donate their prom dresses and formal wear and interview wear. And something happened that I changed the direction of the closet completely.
So what happened?
I'm glad you asked, Jennie Treby. I had a young lady that came in to try on a prom dress, and I said, well, go pick out the ones you want. I had racks, and I had the little size things there. And she picked out a couple dresses, and I would always ask the girls or boys, but particularly the girls, because the boys can change on their own in the men's room, make sure you bring a friend, so if I can zip you up if you're in your bra and underwear. So she became disrobed, and her friend was there. And when I went to zip up the dress, she stunk. She was smelly, like a sour towel. It's very hot in Florida. We all know that. And her bra was put together with a safety pin, and her underpants were quite tattered. And at that very moment, I realized that there was a much bigger need here than prom. And thankfully, we have fantastic members of the community like the Kind Mouse and Bella the Ball and Goodwill, and places that do formal wear. And so from then on, I changed the focus of the closet, because the closet belongs to me, really. And I realized, people want to give, people want to help youth, they want to help families, and I don't even accept prom dresses anymore or formal wear because I don't have the space, number one, and also I don't have time for kids to come in and shop because I teach full time. So the closet is lean and mean, but that's how I changed from just prom dresses to I only accept St. Pete High labeled merchandise. I don't take used shoes. I am very specific in what I accept. I'm always very gracious for what's offered, and then try to give people ideas where they can give the things they want to give away, because it's not a thrift store. And so I have to gently remind people of that because they may not understand how small it is.
So you run this closet in your classroom.
Yes, it's in my classroom.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
My husband built the closet for me because before I was in a portable, and I've also been in another closet where I had a gigantic space, and the bigger the space, it will quickly unravel. So when I do talks around the country, predominantly the Southeast, I tell people it needs to be manageable because the bigger the space, the more stuff you can put in, and you will learn what moves and what doesn't move. So going back, deodorant is the number one mover. Hygiene items, toilet paper. You have to think to yourself, canned goods are very accessible and canned goods are heavy. If people are trying to take home canned goods on the school bus, very, very heavy. Another big mover is any type of toiletry, shampoo, cream rinse, bar soap, those bath puffs. So often the families that I'm working with are multi-generational homes, or they're living in hotels, or they're couch surfing, and so they don't really want to share a bar of soap with someone. And so it's really about dignity. Anything that's backpackable sized, underpants, socks, bras, certainly rice, but you have to marry the items. So if you are going to give me rice, then you need to give me black beans or something to go with it. We always need pasta and sauce. Peanut butter and jelly, although they're not always a big mover, kids don't like grape jelly. I don't know why. Maybe they have had enough of it by the time they get to me. But also toothbrushes and toothpaste. So if I send home a toothbrush for you, then I'm going to say, hey, how many people live in your household? So I can send home a toothbrush for everyone. And they can pick out a couple of tubes of toothpaste. Combs, hair ties, those are the types of items that move.
How do you get the items out of the closet into the child?
Well, my tagline is modeling benevolence and promoting dignity. So it's very important that these kids have the privacy, that they're being helped, that the other kids don't know it. Nobody wants, especially my walkers or the bus riders, they don't want to walk down 34th Street or carrying a shopping bag, and the kids that are on the bus don't want to. So I have a backpack which says St. Pete High. Once a green devil, always a green devil. So the kids can pack this with what they need, and they can get it home, and then ideally bring me back the backpack so that I can do it the next day or the next week with what they want. And I do contact the parent to show them kind of a shopping list. What do you need? And that way the student can kind of pick out what they want. It's not a shopping free-for-all, certainly, but they're able to take home what they need. So I had one family that I have a closeteer. A closeteer is a donor who gives me a case of toilet paper about every 2 months, which is a lot, Angel Soft or Charmin. And the people are very grateful to get that, because if you're living in a hotel, a low-budget hotel, you may only get one roll of toilet paper a week. And again, it's about dignity. So if they need to take home 6 rolls, that's fine. Just bring back, your book bag the next day. And another thing that we do is we do give out gift cards that I get from grant money and from writing. I love writing grants. I'm good at it. And people ask me, what can I do? Well, a $15 or $20 gift card for Save-A-Lot or Aldi or even Family Dollar is very well needed. When Publix donates, then I have them coded no alcohol or tobacco. And I ask the family when I call the parent, hey, if you can send me a receipt, I'd appreciate it, because I like to post what people buy.
Yeah, so tell us what they buy.
Well, I had one family that they bought everything for tacos. It was so obvious what they bought. Fine. And they were so happy. And I remember that she bought a thing of Chips Ahoy cookies with it. Good on you. Enjoy your dinner. And then especially around the holidays, people are very quick thinking that giving someone a turkey or a ham is just exactly what they need. But what if they don't have an oven? What if they don't eat pork? Again, I can give them a gift card, and my closeteers can adopt a family, and they can buy what they want. If they want, I've had people with a $15, $20 gift card buy cake and ice cream. That's fine. I've had people buy, again, hygiene items, cleaning supplies, stuff that food stamps may not buy. And that's really about promoting dignity, and I'm modeling benevolence so that the learner, the family sees you can help people. And then ideally they come back, and my kids do come back and get back to the closet.
That was one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, is that you've often said that some of the biggest donors to the closet are your alumni.
Oh, yes. Oh yes, St. Pete High is we are strong, and our community in St. Petersburg is very strong. And I've even had businesses here in Tampa, large international companies, adopt me, and they'll say, "What do you need?" And I give them a list of 10 things. It's easier because people want to buy what they know I need. I've had brides use my closet as their beneficiary for wedding gifts because maybe they already have a household established. I've had baby showers do the same types of things. But and certainly alumni and certainly our service clubs give to the closet. But what's really important is when kids come back that I've helped. And after 19 years of having this closet, I've helped thousands of kids. But I received a package, and it said, "Mrs. Keim, what saddens me is that I never had the opportunity to have you as a teacher. However, despite this, you influenced my life. I admire your selflessness and your ambition to be such a kind and wonderful teacher and human being. What you do for children with the Green Devil Pantry is a blessing and touches many kids. It touched me. I grew up dirt poor, wearing hand-me-down clothes and using duct tape to stretch the life of my shoes a bit further. I still wear shoes out," he says. "Old habits die hard. I was made fun of for being poor, and I know the feeling too well, watching the other kids have cool things, and I did not. You strive to change the life for so many, and it brings me joy to my eyes knowing someone else does not have to go through the humiliation I went through in my early years of childhood and in high school. I dedicate my doctoral study to you and the Green Devil's Pantry to express my gratitude to you and the positive influence you have in my life." And that was very impactful on me because he wasn't in my classroom. So oftentimes people think, "Oh, well, they must just all be your students," and that's not how it is. I find them or they find me. And to have someone do that was very, very
So he
impactful
dedicated his doctoral dissertation
to the closet and to me.
Wow.
And I bought, when I say I mean the closet, my closeteers, who are very generous, bought his prom ticket, and we paid for his tux. And I think when I realized that the closet was doing what it was supposed to do, is I was in my classroom, and a tall, good-looking black guy with dreads came in, and I looked at him and I said, "Roy," his last name, Junior, "in the flesh." And he said, "How did you know it was me?" And I said, "Well, you don't change much in your eyes. You know, your eyes and your voice are usually quite the same as you get older." And he said, "I had to come and see you." He said, "I remember when my house burned to the ground," which was true. It was a rental property, multi-generational family, and the closet helped me. And he said, "I just wanted to let you know that I got married and I'm a school bus driver." He's now a teacher. He has 3 kids. And he said, "I just wanted to come back and see you and tell you thank you, and I have something for you, but it's not very much." And he opened up his wallet and gave me a $20 bill.
Aw.
And now he does more than that, and he'll pick things up for me and so on. But that's what the closet does, is it's to show kids that you can be benevolent. However you can be benevolent. And so if you model benevolence and people look up to you, they will follow your tracks. So, yeah.
That's, wow. Your mission statement, you're making me kind of come back to your mission statement, but I took a note of it. To provide food, household school supplies, and other items needed to any member of the Green Devil family without question or judgment, to promote success at school, work, and in the community. I love the word judgment without judgment in there, and I was wondering if you could maybe expand on that. Like, why was it important to put without judgment in the mission statement?
I think because people misunderstand poverty. I think that if you haven't been there or you're new to having uncertainty for your hygiene and your clothing items, that you don't understand. So I've had people say, "Well, Tracey, why are you giving so-and-so one of your St. Pete High sweatshirts or hoodies, which are very coveted, or one of your book bags, they have on brand new shoes, but you don't know what's going on at home. You don't know this. You don't know the child or the family. I get to know some of the families. So it has to be without judgment. If someone has taken the time to entrust you to help them, you can't be judgmental, because poverty looks different on different people. And especially teenagers, they're incredible liars. God love them. I mean, I've been a teacher for 20 years, but especially if they feel wounded or cornered, They're going to react in some way. And so you have to, if somebody comes to you, or when I have a student come and they've got one of my black book bags or one of my St. Pete High shirts, this is my logo, just like the logo on the magnet, I know that they're one of mine. So I can therefore question them or make suggestions without them feeling intimidated. And I will have them, they can come, think about it. You come to my 7th period, there's 35 kids in there, and I just hand you the backpack, and it's like, oh, you forgot your backpack during lunch today. The kids aren't any the wiser. And that's very, very important. And another thing that I do so that the kids, again, feel that they have dignity and that they can trust me is when they need a certain item, let's say a pair of tennis shoes, they pick it out on Target.com. It's shipped to me at school, not to their home. That way I can track it, of course. But that gives them the right to pick out the pair of sneakers or slides that they want. I don't care what they look like. And I'm certainly at my age, I probably wouldn't pick out what they would want. But you can't think that the minute they feel that you're judging them, they won't come back. And then they're back to square one. And I think especially high school students, that's a weird time physically and certainly emotionally. Some of them are kind of coming into their own spirituality, and you want them to know that they have a safe place. And I give out my phone number very freely. I've had it for 35 years. And that way, if they need something, they can text me. You know?
And do they?
Oh, yes. And sometimes the kids that come in, they just need those things that are in the closet, or they need a folder for school. And especially second semester, school supplies are expensive because they're not on the clearance. Right? Book bags are very expensive, so I always have my book bags and then other ones. But, the kids, some of the items are self-serve. Food, I cannot leave out as self-serve because high school kids are like locusts. They're always hungry. They're like locusts or termites or something,
It's funny. A few episodes ago, we had Thomas Mance, who's the CEO of Feeding Tampa Bay, and he was talking to us about serving different demographics and populations, and he basically said that teenagers are a difficult population to serve because they're really good at hiding food insecurity. They don't want you to know that they're hungry because they don't want to take maybe at home from a younger sibling, and they certainly don't want to be judged at school. And so that was just a super powerful thing for us to learn, but it makes me, just kind of relate back to the food situation where you're saying, here's a gift card or, whatever it is that you are asking for at the time that they get that food, that they need that food.
And they do. And what he said and what you shared about the older siblings not wanting to take from their younger ones. I have a student now. He's a junior. I'm paying for his homecoming ticket and his prom ticket because he doesn't want to go to prom. Well, my closeteers are, so I should say that correctly. And, last year I took him to get his outfit for homecoming. And so I took him to Bell's. His parents have to sign a permission slip, And I took my husband with me, so I had another adult in the car. And I said, you have $75. And you need to buy a pair of slacks, but make sure they're slacks you can wear to other things. And the rest of the money is yours to pick out. And he did. And I was unsurprised, but he said, I said, well, that shirt looks kind of small for you. And he said, oh, well, it's for my brother. Is that okay? And I said, no, that's perfectly fine. And now that brother is at St. Pete High. So I have a junior and a freshman, and I see them every morning. They come and have coffee, and they are hungry. And so last year, when I'll call him Lyle, that's not his name, but Lyle would come to take home a book bag. And he always, is looking to see what I have, which is fine, of course. I said, would you like to take home? I think it was canned tuna. So I had those. If I have tuna, then I'm going to have mayonnaise. And he said, well, I don't like tuna, but my mom and dad do. And I said, well, then take home 2 cans of tuna and take it to your family, But let's also make sure you have things. So it's very heartwarming to see the older siblings be protective, and then to bring in the next youngest to come in to meet me, so that I can continue to follow them. And it is very important that the kids can do that they can bring somebody. And they also send me names of their friends. Hey, Mrs. Keim, I have a friend that I think's in the same situation. They live in the same trailer park as I do, the same apartment complex. because rent is very expensive, very, very expensive. So it is, it's a special place. And I like it that it's small. And the kids are very protective of it. The students that I have that organize it for me, because I sometimes get a lot of stuff, I let the kids organize it. And I'm not worried about them stealing, because if they want something, they ask, which is, again,
Sure.
dignity.
Yeah.
For me too, and let them do it, let them see. And then when the kids do realize someone's going in the closet, they never say a word, or when they donate, some of the kids will donate back St. Pete High club shirts, let's say, or a Gator shirt, or Florida State, for example. And I've never heard a student say, hey, you're not an Interact, take that shirt off, or that's my prom, that's my dress that I donated. They never do that, not ever.
So you really are teaching by example, and it's interesting to see how it spreads. Talk to me about the parents, because of all this time knowing about your closet, I didn't know that you actually reached out to the parents.
Well, you have to handle things gingerly, because you don't want people to feel that their parenting skills are under attack, or that you are somehow considering calling DCF. And so when I call, I will always tell the student, I'm going to call your parents before I send food home. So let them know nothing's wrong. I'm not here to talk about your grades, because they're not all in my classes. And then I send home the list, and the parents can circle what they want. But I'll call and I'll introduce myself. I encourage them to Google the Green Devil's Closet. Our website has many, many stories about me in the closet, so that they feel comfortable knowing that they can also ask for help. And they usually will share things going on at home that they maybe wouldn't have told another teacher. For example, my husband lost his job. I'm sick. I'm behind on the power bill. My car is broken down. Life gets in the way. And then I give them my cell number. I always call from my cell number. And the first thing I say is, this is Tracey Keim from St. Pete High. Nothing is wrong, because the parent, your heart drops.
Yeah.
And I just tell them what the closet's about. And I always, let them know I can send home underpants to you too, or if you need bras, or if your significant other needs underpants or socks or feminine products. If you'll tell me, I'll send it home in a book bag. And you can always tell me what you need. And so that's how the cleaning supplies came in, is that I have some people that have food stamps, but that doesn't buy cleaning supplies. And home is where your home is, and people want a clean house. That's, again, dignity.
Sure. Absolutely. I wanted to ask you about, do you believe, or have you seen that the needs have changed over the last 20 years? Or how have the needs changed? Or are they the same?
Oh, no, they've changed a lot. The closet is constantly under construction and reconstruction and rebirth. And so sometimes things that move won't move anymore. And a fine example is canned goods. The only canned goods I really want are things are ready to eat. Not everybody has milk at home, but now I ask for the shelf milk, right? Because if you have cereal, you need milk. So the shelf milk is delicious. You can also do the shelf milk that's almond milk now. I've seen that students want fresh fruit. So I do try to buy probably 4 cases of fresh fruit a month, one a week rather. So a 40-pound box of bananas, it almost lasts the exact week, and kids can grab and go it. And that's if they're hungry, please have a banana. And so they don't eat, they don't want a lot of processed food. They want more organic.
Sure.
They want healthy food, which is nice to see. I wish that I had the space and the means to have bread, but then I would need to have, I don't know, the kids don't want bologna. They love Vienna sausages. They don't want bologna. Maybe they've had enough bologna. And the needs have changed so far as people needing undergarments. Undergarments and socks. That has been a big change, and toilet paper has been a big change. That wasn't something that was on my radar until after I had the third kid ask, hey, do you have any toilet paper? I thought, well, this is a need. What I try to do is think to myself or tell my new closeteers, if you had $10 in your wallet or $5, what are you going to spend the money on? You've got to buy gas. You've got to buy milk, probably. Maybe your daughter, or you need girl supplies, or you need deodorant. How are you going to spend that money? Something's got to give. So I try to have things that kids will will take home and enjoy.
What about their home circumstances? Have you seen any differences in their situations at home? Have you noticed any kind of transitions or any kind of patterns or trends in terms of where the kids are living or how they're living in the last 20 years?
Definitely. I'm seeing a lot more multi-generational homes. I think it's because of rent, and people, I see a lot more of people moving from hotel to hotel because now the more daily hotels, the lower budget ones, raise their rates on the weekends. So here you're finally getting ahead, and then now your hotel room rent has gone up by 30%. And sometimes those people have to sleep in their cars, and I've seen a lot more of grandparents taking care of youth for whatever reason. It could be incarceration, it could be addiction, it could be the situations are vast. Sometimes people couldn't afford to have their kids. Maybe the situation was better with the grandparent. But the word uncertainty is a great word, and I think uncertainty creates fear and desperation. And there's no reason, certainly in Pinellas County and not in my city, that kids should have to live in fear and uncertainty when there's so many people and so many grant opportunities and fundraising opportunities to help them. And people want to help. They just don't know how.
They just don't know how.
They don't.
And I love that you tell people what you need. I love that about you, because anybody who knows you knows that's who you are anyway. You're very straightforward. But tell them what you need specifically, and tell them what you don't need, more importantly. I know that you've spoken nationally several times in different conferences in front of teachers, educators, and all kinds of other people. Do you think that what you're doing is repeatable?
I absolutely know it's repeatable because I am a featured speaker at it used to be called National Youth at Risk in Savannah. They've been around 36 years. It's now called National Youth Advocacy and Resilience. What a beautiful name change.
Right.
Yes. Word choice matters.
Yes,
for sure.
It sure does.
And it's always sold out, per se. It's standing room only, and they usually have me fill in a second day because people want to know how to do it. And there's some very key points about having a closet if it's going to work. And number one, you have to have somebody that's going to be there and will be the face and the mouthpiece for it. And I also speak at Delta Kappa Gamma, which is an international educators sorority society, actually. And I'm the president of my chapter, so I speak at the state conference, and I'm doing another one, I think, in Georgia coming up. So people want to learn how to do it because this uncertainty, this insecurity is happening nationwide.
Right.
I mean, look how rich St. Petersburg is, but we still have people who are hungry and who don't want to be smelly at school or at work, because again, that's why it says anyone in the Green Devil family, and that includes staff members as well. And that's why the without question or judgment, especially for staff, for colleagues, it's without a question.
Yeah. So it just seems to me that it could be, and probably is, a movement that could take hold. And, because like you said, you need the mouthpiece, you need the person who's going to organize it, but the space, you don't need that much space.
You don't need that much space because the bigger it is, the more things you're going to stuff into it, and someone has to organize it. We had a closet modeled after ours that opened in Australia, and it was a Girl Scouts, and she won the National Girl Scouting Award, and then she moved to Australia, and she opened a closet down there very similar to mine, which is pretty cool. I haven't been down to see it, but maybe
sounds
someday.
like you need to get there. Tracey, one last question for you. If you could ask our audience, what is one thing that they could do to help a kid in need, whether they live in Tampa Bay or throughout the country, because we have listeners everywhere? What's one thing you can do?
Well, one thing that you can do is to ask your local school, find someone who is a guidance counselor or a social worker there, or a teacher. Everyone knows teachers. We're like, a pack, and ask that teacher, what can I do to help one child? What do they need the most? And follow what they say to you. They may say, what I really need are folders. My kids don't have folders. Keep an eye out for youth that they may know, and you can ask the youth, hey, what's something you think kids really need at school? Not that they want, but something that they really need that you maybe see people are missing. And they may say, well, I think somebody could buy some I'll use St. Pete High T-shirts. There's kids that really want, which is true, St. Pete High shirts, they can't afford them. And if you are going to open a closet, I would encourage you to do so, but the most important thing that you must do is say thank you and write a thank you note.
And it's authentic.
It is authentic. It's a lot of fun, and it does make a difference, and you are promoting dignity. That's the most important thing.
Tracey, you are incredible, and you are, as I said before, a community and a classroom hero, and we just really appreciate your time and everything you're doing to help kids.
Thank you for having me, and I love the organization. I love, think bigger, and everybody can think bigger and do more.
Thank you for your time. Come back and talk to us.
We will.
Okay, take care.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for spending your time with Think Bigger Voices. Visit thinkbigforkids.org/podcast to see more episodes, follow our journey, and stay connected.